Hi everyone, I'm back, and as you can see, I've got a brand new haircut. Um, but that's not the focus of this video. The focus of this video is to talk about the book that I've been reading this week, and due to, life getting in the way and all that lot, it's taken me a lot longer than I thought it would take me to read. And that is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Now, this is a book that I've not read before. It's only the second Agatha Christie book that I've read, and it's one of those things that I knew the ending already because of it's just one of those stories where everybody knows the ending of the murder on the Orient Express. I couldn't remember specifically the reason why it happened, so it was nice reading this and be able to figure that out during the course of reading, rather than knowing absolutely every detail off the top of my head. Like, I knew who did it, but yeah, I couldn't remember why. I couldn't remember any of the clues that were left behind, any of the suspicions. I remembered a few characters, but not everybody. So it was, even though I knew the ending, it was still a really good read and a nice surprise to learn all of these little things that, happen throughout the course of the story. So if you haven't read Murder on the Orient Express, this is one of Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot books. And Poirot is an investigator, and in this situation he gets onto the Express, because the Orient Express, should I say, because he's got this case that a colleague has assigned him to. Basically, he has to travel across country and that to be able to look into the case. And at the same time, you've got another guy who's sort of pestering him, saying, please take my case on, please take my case on, I want you to do this. And Poirot's like, no, go away, I don't care. And he goes on the Orient Express, and usually at that time of year, because it's like November, December, there's only usually a couple of rooms taken. So it's very, very bizarre that when he gets on, every single room is taken. And they get, the train is travelling, it's overnight, and he hears this noise from one of the carriages next to him, one of the rooms next to him, sorry, and he doesn't think anything about it. And then later that night, he wakes up and realises the train's not moving. They've stopped because of snow and everything, and it's discovered that the room where he heard a noise coming from is a room where a body has been discovered. One of the guests has been murdered, and he has to figure out basically who did it. He's automatically be told, you're a detective, you figure it out right here, right now. And because it does very much remind me of And Then There Were None, which is the only other Agatha Christie book that I've read, because you've got this situation, it's shut off from the rest of the world. It's very claustrophobic. You've got multiple people. I think it's like 10 people or something in out the list of suspects. No, sorry, out of the list of suspects, there's 13. So if you count the murder victim, that's 14, and then the three, the detective, the doctor, and his friend. So there's like around 20 people when you include the crew and all that. So you've got a very small area with lots of people in it, and you're trying to figure out who did this, what's the link, what the heck's going on. So that's And Then There Were None. It so links, it's ridiculous. I love the claustrophobic nature of it. I loved meeting the characters and learning about them. I really liked Poirot. As I said, this is the first Poirot one that I've read, because the only other book I've read is And Then There Were None, and that's not linked to anyone like Marple or Poirot or anything. So it was really interesting reading about him. I don't know where this book sits in the order of the Poirot books, if it's relatively early or if it's later on or in the middle, because she doesn't really talk about him and aspects of his life, or that kind of thing. She doesn't expand on that. So I kind of feel like I was meant to have known some information about him in order to understand his perspective on certain elements. I know that may sound a bit weird, or if it's just me, the way that I interpreted when I was reading it. I wanted to know a bit more about Poirot, and I didn't get that from this book. But as I said, it could just be that because it's in the middle of a series of books relating to him, that I haven't come across it. So I've no way of knowing that information. If I read the others, I may know answers to the questions that I have, but unfortunately I don't, just reading this book. But saying that, the murder scene is so intriguing with this man. This isn't giving anything away, of course. This man who's been found murdered, stabbed multiple times in his room, with the door locked from the inside. There is a window open, but because they're stuck, because of the snow, they can see from the snow there's no footprints, there's nothing around, so there's no way that the killer could have left through the window. So how did they get out? How did they get in? What happened? And it's such an intriguing crime scene. Great characters. I also really think Christie, she was so good at writing really interesting characters, and she has this technique which it's quite rare to find, in that she can tell you so much information by few words. I mean, this book, it's like 200 and, hang on, let me find out. It is 274 pages long, and yet you've got this really in-depth, intricate story going on with this murder in so short space of time. I mean, comparison to like J.K. Rowling's Cormoran Strike books, they're around 400 to 500 or more pages each, and this is 200 odd, and it's brilliant. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I would like to read more Agatha Christie, I think. At times, I will, I want to give criticism here. At times, she did kind of annoy me with looking at certain areas, and I'm going, no, I don't want to learn about that. I want to learn about that over there, and she doesn't go over there. But that's not saying that she's a bad writer or anything. It was just me, the way that my mind focused on the crime scene or whatever, or each of these guests. I wanted to know certain things about them, but unfortunately she didn't write about that. So you can't have everything that you want. It's the way of the world. But yes, I mean, it's a really interesting story, so well crafted. The setting is awesome, to be honest, and especially when you think about it. It was the Victorian era, when the first murder on a train happened with Mr. Briggs. I know that because I've read a book on it. A man was thrown from a train and called Mr. Briggs, and his hat incriminated the killer. And I watched, but it's mainly the hat that's the focus. Anyway, how murders on trains are so intriguing. The whole thing of, getting rid of the body and she's done it before. She did again, should I say, Agatha Christie with Murder on the 950 from Paddington, which is a Miss Marple story, which I really like. I've ITV here in the UK did dramas of like each of the Marple books, so I know it from that. I've not read it, but I really enjoy 950 at Paddington. The whole thing of seeing a murder on a train that's going the opposite direction, and you only see it for a certain amount of time when the two trains pass each other. I found that so intriguing, and how trying to solve the mystery from there. So I think she had a fascination with trains, and they're very, at that time also, is very precise with the times of exactly when it went off, exactly when it came, and there's so many networks and everything around the place that you could get, and Miss Marple does this. She gets the timetables, and she sits with her friend, and they go through it, and they retake her journey, and she's able to track exactly which train it is that, when the two cross each other at the certain point of the journey, when she remembers, oh, this is where it happened, she's able to track exactly which train that is, what time it left, what time it got to its destination, where it's headed, all that jazz. She's able to do that from this book of timetables, because it was so precise. It's not like trains nowadays. But still, yeah, I think she had a real fascination with trains, I would say, and just yeah, she's a wonder. She's a marvel. So I really enjoyed reading Murder on the Orient Express. The revelation as to who the killer was. I remember when I originally found out about the ending of Murder on the Orient Express. This isn't giving anything away, so don't worry, I'm not spoiling. I was like, oh, okay, that's didn't see that coming. But then when I read it, I totally get why it was so surprising, and I found myself surprised, even though I knew the ending, because of the crime scene, the evidence, the links, the backstory. It was just fantastic. Fantastic read. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, I really strongly recommend Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. There is a radio play version that I've got that the BBC did, and I can't for the life of me remember who starred in it. Very sorry. I'll find what I'll do. I'll find the information. I'll put in the description of this video. But it's about 6 hours long or something. It's ridiculously long radio play, but it's absolutely fantastic. I strongly recommend that. Sorry, I can't think off the top of my head. Like I said, I'll put in the description. As to film and TV versions, I've never seen a film or TV version of Murder on the Orient Express, but there are plenty of them out there. So, hey, if you've got any recommendations for adaptations, send them my way. Kenneth Branagh, though, has announced that he's filming, he's going to film, should I say, directs a version of the Murder on the Orient Express for film. I don't know when it's going to be filmed or, when it's going to be released. Most likely probably released in the next few years. But, we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But I'm very intrigued to see how he takes on the case and everything. And yeah, I'm going to stop there because I'm itching to say more about this, but I can't say more about it because it'll give the game away as to what happens and that. And I don't want to spoil for people who haven't read this book who really want to read it, but I really enjoyed it. It was so intricate, so well put together, brilliantly crafted, as always, from Agatha. Unlike a crime book I've ever read, with a great detective, great characters, just great all round. I absolutely loved it. Alright then guys, I'll stop there then, and I'll be back as usual with another video to announce what book I'm going to be reading next. It'll be non-fiction. In the meantime, did you enjoy reading this book? If you've read it and enjoy watching this video, I'd love to know what you think. You can give me a comment in the comments box below, or you can give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Entirely up to you, I'll let you decide. And I'll be back soon with the announcement of what the next book I'll be reading is. Alright then guys, bye!